This will probably be one of my worst videos so far, but bear with me because I was actually thinking about the customer journey and the levels of awareness that I always talk about and how important they are, how really important they are. They're more important than what you would actually think that they are, because they will define not only the type of content that you have, they'll also be defining pretty much anything in your funnel, not just the way that you talk to your client, which is pretty much everything. But let's say that, because some people get it wrong, they're talking to the wrong audience, and sometimes they're talking to the right audience, but they're not talking to the right audience at the right stage. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that in the off funnel, we have a top of funnel funnel. What does that mean? It means that we are targeting people who are completely unaware of their problem, their solution, and our brand. I'll be like top of funnel, completely unaware. Then you have middle of funnel. So you've got TOFU, MOFU, and BOFU. So MOFU, middle of funnel, would be targeting those people who are aware of the problem and the solution, but they are unaware of your product. And for top of funnel, could be that they are aware of the product, that they're aware of the problem but not the solution. And that's where you come in and you kind of teach them everything that they need to learn. Then middle of funnel, you don't have to do much explaining because they already know that your product works for them and that it could be the missing piece. But when it comes to the bottom of funnel, they're mostly aware, product aware even. That's when you have to show them why they have to buy from you and not your competitors, because they already know about your competitors as well. So why does this matter when it comes to writing your ads? And why you should listen to me? I'm a creative strategist, a creative lead, and I've been writing winning ads for the past 5 years. And what I've learned so far is that really good advertisers, they target the right people, but they don't actually do it in a way that is like super well thought about. Like, it's not like you're gonna go in and create all of these rules and target people. No, you're just gonna let the computer decide. You're gonna let it learn. The machine is gonna learn on its own. Like, Meta has gotten really good at this, so it's just leaving the computer doing that. And I'm gonna make a video about that later, but I don't want to stay off topic here. So really it's important that you pay attention to where in the stage they are, because if you're not talking to them at the stage that they should be, then you're losing a lot of opportunities to actually close that sale, because it's like you're speaking a different language to a prospect that doesn't really care about what you have to say. So that's the importance of it, and I just thought it would be interesting to create a video on this, because not many people know exactly where in the funnel they should be speaking to. And it's not that you just need to know what your customer is, who your customer avatar is. That's just surface. And the other day I was actually like thinking about this. It's funny because like I'm creating this video right now. It's a Sunday morning and I was just having coffee and I was literally thinking about top of funnel, middle funnel, like, and it's not one of those things. Like, now I feel like I sound like one of those LinkedIn bros who are like, oh, I learned this while I was getting married during my marriage proposal. I learned this about B2B sales. No, but I was really thinking about it. And one thing though that I do want to mention, that I've seen across the board many times, regarding the same thing, is it's not just the psychographics. And I was actually talking about that with a dear friend of mine who's also a marketer, and we were talking about like, it's not just like the psychographics is nothing, and we are like very much into like MBTI, and I was just like kind of gamifying my life with The Sims. I'm not gonna lie. I love doing that. Every once in a while, I'm a weird. I know I'm a weirdo, but it works. And if it works, who cares, right? So I was like kind of gamifying my life with The Sims. That's actually like sometimes when I do want to really focus, I'll put like the Sims 1, literally that one, soundtrack, and I'll just like jam to it. But like coming back to it, so I was playing along with that, and I realized that every single trait of The Sims was part of the MBTI, and that's one of the processes that I love to use when I write for an audience. It's like I'm like, yeah, psychographics are okay, and geographic information, that's okay. Like psychographics and like geographics, they're great, right? Yeah, but what if you want to go deeper? What if you really, especially if you're working with like high ticket sales, like a really really high ticket for like 10K. I work with clients whose medium ticket is like 10K. That's where you really want to get yourself into more than just consumer behavior. You really want to get into their shoes, and you really want to understand the type of person that would meet that criteria. And a really good way that I found so far to do this is the MBTI, and the MBTI is great for that reason, because like I was just having fun with The Sims, and I actually googled Sims traits MBTI, because I was sure that The Sims, remember when you were able to create your Sims and you were able to like make them more introverted, more extroverted, more cleaner or dirtier or whatever. And I was like, this is kind of like the MBTI. And the MBTI is really good because, like, even the CIA uses it to profile people and to recruit people. So it's actually that good. So if we have that of a tool, when you really understand, you're able to actually read people really well. Like, I'm able to, like, for some people who didn't know their MBTI, like, I kind of guessed it. And when they took the test, it was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm an INF, like an INFP or an ENFA, like it was so funny because I usually never fail when deciding that, because I got so good at it, because I became obsessed with it, because I love it. I love it. I'm an INTJ, so I'm obsessed with it. Like all us INTJs, for some reason, we're obsessed with the MBTI. But for marketers, and the reason why I'm bringing this up in this conversation as well, is because I found it to be such a really good tool. Like, really think about it. What is like, if you're talking about like a really like a product for women, right? That's cheap and that most women would actually buy. You're actually thinking about, you're like, okay, what's the most prevalent MBTI in this group, right? It's probably the ISFJ or the ESFP or the ESFJ, right? So when you know that, you've unlocked a whole new, hack to win and really speak like they would and say what they would say, because you understand something very fundamental, which is what the MBTI pretty much describes. Their cognitive functions. So if you know more about that and you get to study, because marketing is about studying psychology, but it's more than that. There's a lot of profiling. There's a lot of stalking. That's a lot of like trying to understand what drives people, the biases, their personalities. Those things are what truly matter. And if you understand how they make decisions, because you understand their cognitive functions, because their MBTI, then you're going to be able to sell to an analyst, aka someone who needs a lot of proof, someone who thinks instead of feeling, versus selling to someone who's like, lets themselves, lets their feelings decide for them, and they're like, they go with the vibes and their hunch and everything. So my takeaway for this is learn the MBTI, learn your customer journey, and meet them where they're at. See you next time. And don't forget to subscribe, because that helps me put out more content like this. Bye.